Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is March 2nd. This year is just flying by. Kind of crazy. We were talking about it at work last night, how the older you get, the quicker time seems to pass. You know, we were saying like when we were 18, you know, and the thought of college was kind of at the forefront. How 4 years just seemed like a lifetime. You know, nobody wanted to go to school for 4 years. And now, you know, at my age, 51, 4 years seems like a drop in the bucket, right? So it is, we were discussing the fact that it was probably proportional to your age, you know, your concept of how quickly time passes. And, of course, one of my math tutors quickly corrected me and said, no, it's not proportional. She said a word and I can't remember it now, but I said, I will defer to your expertise when it comes to math because I'm not studying that. But she's an accountant. I want to say it began with an I. So I can't remember what it is. And anyway, so there's that. So time, yeah, time is a thing lately for us. And I feel like that little story was meant to give us the energy for today, which is, you know, time. Time is relative to your perception. Right? I think I heard Sadhguru say one time, the speed at which time moves is dependent on which side of the bathroom door you're standing on. And sorry about that, guys. I got a phone call, which is very unusual as a telemarketer, so I declined it, but it definitely messed up my video because I record on my phone, and my dog is not letting me shuffle my cards. Stella, go lay down. So, distractions, you know, distractions. Things are going to distract us. And we've got the Nine of Wands. So, Nine of Wands is, I think, if memory serves, guys, we got the Nine of Wands in reverse, Monday and Tuesday. And I think I told you that I wouldn't be surprised if we continued to see this card come out this week. So, Nine of Wands is that pushing through, right? Look at him. He's poised and ready, you know, he's got eight wands behind him and carrying one ready in that defensive posture. And I'm just noticing this. What is that? A top? I'm not sure what that is, but, and maybe that in and of itself is the message. It's things are starting to be uncovered, right? But you're still not quite sure what it is you're seeing. The Nine of Wands is, the end of that creation, the end of that chapter, the end of, you know, nines are endings. I always say tens are endings, but it's really nines. Tens are just the overdoing of it, right? So nines are actually the endings in tarot. So keeping and maintaining boundaries, a test of courage and persistence. This is what this card is telling you. You know, we've set these boundaries up and it's testing them. Do they work? Are they solid? Have you put them in place in a healthy way where they will be respected? And if you have not, will you respect them? There's a question for you, right? And wands being creation and desire. You desire to have these new relationships, or you desire to have these new things, or these healthy environments, but they start with you. They start with your boundaries. They start with how you approach the situation, because you set the stage, quite literally, right? And if we go back to the metaphor that I've been using all week about watching the movie or writing the story, now you've set the stage. You're not just the character in your story, but you are the director. So you get to be, what is it? Is it, who is that girl that played in The Accused? Jodie Foster. And I don't know why it's her name that came to me, but she was a director and an actress in the movies a lot of the movies that she did. And a lot of actors and actresses do go on to become producers and or directors of their movies. It's a natural progression in that art, in that field of study or whatever. So, you know, you learn the character portion of it, and then you get to play the other side of it where you're directing them. And I think that's what this card is saying with that, you know, but that's done with proper healthy boundaries. So that's the energy that we're in, which is beautiful, guys. I mean, I love that. I love that we are honoring ourselves that way. It's about time, all right? It's about time. So can you tell me more about this Nine of Wands? Can you tell me more about this Nine of Wands, please? Tell me more about the Nine of Wands. Queen of Cups again. I believe she made an appearance this week too. That mature embodiment of pure love, of understanding that you have to love yourself first before you give that cup of love to anyone else. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, and you know, she was questioning some of the decisions that she made, and my answer to her was, is it unconditional? You know, when we throw back in someone's face in an argument and we say, after all I've done for you, that is a clue that your love was conditional. Period. End of story. I don't care what you say. I don't care what your intentions were. If you're keeping score, that's a condition. It's when you can put that scorecard down that you become and embody this Queen of Cups energy. And that's where we're heading to, guys. That's what these boundaries and so forth do for us. Because when we say no, when we want to say no instead of saying yes, we don't carry the resentment long enough to want to say, after all I've done for you. You just do it and you move on with your life, and you're okay with planting a seed of a tree to grow so that someone else can sit under it, not you. That, my friends, is unconditional. When you can create things or spark ideas or give things to other people and walk away without ever, ever, ever expecting anything in return, you have reached a point of unconditional that we are all searching for. And it's these little tiny tweaks, guys, little tiny things that we don't realize. We've put conditions on our love this whole time. I noticed that about myself, and I didn't, you know, I would have never said my love was conditional until I looked at it from that perspective. You know, she has empathy. She has understanding. She is the teacher, the mother, the parent. She, you know, you think about what a parent should be, because I myself am not the parent I should be. You know, I get a little better every day. Don't get me wrong. I'm not beating myself up. But that empathetic, compassionate, unconditional love that you would get from a healthy mother, a mentally healthy mother, would be what this energy is. And that, when you look at that kind of love with these boundaries, then you don't feel bad for saying no when you need to say no. You know it's in everybody's highest good. You know putting the 3-year-old down for a nap, as much as he's fighting it, is going to do him good. And they might think you're being an awful parent. They might think you're mean and terrible and you're horrible. And but you do it anyway because you know it's in their highest good. So that's that energy. Can I get some messages for today to go with this energy? Can I get some messages for today to go with this energy? Can I get some messages for today to go with this energy? Messages for today, please. Messages for today. Messages for today, please. Hello. There we go. Thank you. Ooh, Queen of Wands. I love it, and I think I mentioned it the last time we got her. Fakey McFakerman is what Steve's Love Tarot here on YouTube calls her. And I think it's just hysterical the way he does that, right? But this is our Queen of Wands. So Wands, again, back to the Wands, is desire and its creation. It's that fire energy, right? It's that Aries, Leo, Sag energy. It's that drive. It's that idea that you get before the action, right? And the Queen of Wands is the mature energy for that. I don't see it as Fakey McFakerman the way Steve's Love Tarot does, although it just makes me laugh. And there's nothing ever wrong with laughter, right, guys? But she doesn't look happy, and she doesn't look very nice, but she is portraying love. You know, she's claiming to up here with her flag, but it's a black heart on a red flag. So a lot of root chakra energy there, and the black cat protecting her. And the black cat doesn't even look necessarily excuse me, guys. It doesn't look very loving, if you will. But Queen of Wands is that mature energy of just being feisty, right? She's self-assured. She's confident. She has mastered herself. And she ain't taking no shit, you know? And you got the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands. I mean, you're starting to really, I mean, this to me is divine feminine energy, right? You got 2 queens and you've got 2 of the 4 suits in the tarot. And, you know, I often say that the court cards are people. I don't know who these people might be in your life. I'm not even going to try to venture a guess. But it's that those women in your life, maybe that taught you what unconditional love was, that taught you what self-confidence was. And you're starting to put the pieces together, right? You're starting to end the desire to figure it all out, because you're getting it and you're putting those boundaries up and you're understanding what all these things mean. You get back to the Queen of Wands. She's wearing purple, but it's covered in red. Okay, so crown chakra, but covered in her root chakra. The root chakra likely is protecting that crown chakra energy, right? We have to understand that our divine energy, our divine guidance, our spirituality and so forth is there, but it can't be the only thing. You can't live in the upper 3 chakras all the time. We live in the world. We are human. It is imperative that we have food, water, and shelter, right? So we have to remember our lower 3 chakras, the root chakra, our basic human needs. Think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know, if you don't have food, shelter, and your basic human needs, you can't really see much beyond that, right? We were doing a case study in one of my classes, my I think it was motivational interviewing, and it was the same case study we used in the profession of human services. And it was the case of Maggie. And Maggie comes in, and it was a case study, obviously, so we're reading this, but she comes in, she's pregnant, she has a 3-year-old, and her first words out of her mouth are, you know, I'm here because I can't juggle this anymore. You know, she was, I don't know, young mother, maybe 18 or 20. And part of her statements are, I need money, I need food, I need childcare. You know, and at one point the therapist asks, you know, whether or not she's using drugs, right? And her answer was, oh my God, not you too. Everybody thinks it's about drugs. So she admitted to using drugs. She didn't consider herself an addict, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, she had no food, she had no money, she had no shelter, and she had a baby and a baby on the way. Her drug use was the least of her fucking concerns, right? And although those of us that are healthy would know, well, you got to get off the drugs in order for the rest of it to get better, she can't see beyond her own basic human needs. So how do you approach that, right? And that's what I think Queen of Wands is, right? Understanding that. But understanding it with compassion, understanding it with love, understanding it from a place of love and not being judgmental on it, you know, and keeping your boundaries up. You know, the boundaries could run both ways. You might feel judgmental, but put that boundary up so that she doesn't feel it. You know, maybe the boundary is backwards. Like, you know, much of many of our readings lately, everything is backwards. And anyway, interesting. We got 2 queens. Can you tell me about these 2 queens? Tell me about the 2 queens. That's way too many cards. Sorry, guy. I'm not taking them. Not taking them. Way too many. All right. Tell me about the 2 queens. Tell me about the 2 queens. Tell me about the 2 queens. Thank you. That's much more doable. We've got the 10 of Pentacles, an abundance in resources. This is sleeping good at night because you know you got what you need. Those basic human needs have been met. Her ancestors are there, right? And I believe that's her sister in the middle. I think I looked this card up once before. Her sister, and then both sets of grandparents. But her pentacles are put away. She's stockpiled them, dead, you know, and that's resources. It doesn't mean money necessarily. Even the cat's sleeping. Everybody's just sleeping good at night because they have no worries. And embodying these 2 energies of the mature queen, of the mature love, and the mature confidence is what's going to get you that confidence. It's what's going to let you sleep at night, right? When you come from a place of love and you are confident in what you're doing, then what do you have to worry about? Because you know you can rely on yourself. You've been taught by your ancestors, actually, sorry. You've been taught, and you're following the examples, and sometimes the examples of what not to do. But you have learned from past mistakes of your ancestors, and you are putting that into practice, which is good. to the Eight of Swords. You know, this is the mini devil card, I call it. This is overthinking. It's considering yourself to be trapped when you're not, right? There is nothing tying her hands. She could just literally pull her arms apart, and that looks like toilet paper. I mean, it doesn't even look like, or gauze. It doesn't even look like it's something she couldn't break out of, right? And she's surrounding herself with all these swords. It's the words that she tells herself. It's the thoughts. And all of these playing cards again, and as you know, in Alice in Wonderland, the playing cards are the army, right? They are the flying monkeys, if you will, if you want to consider the Queen of Hearts the narcissist, blah, blah, blah. But the cards are flying everywhere. You know, there's going to be chaos, guys. There's going to be so many people out there that are not awake. Don't let them into your world. Don't let them into your thoughts. Keep your boundaries up. Make your thoughts your own. Don't let the other thoughts of all these other people, all the army of darkness, or whatever you want to call it, into your thoughts. And if you can keep your boundaries up, then maybe you don't get here. But guys, you know what? Sometimes you have to overthink it. Because there's, you know, if you are overthinking it, it's because your body or your mind is not comfortable with it. And again, I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, you know, what we know to be comfortable isn't always healthy, because we've been conditioned, we've been trained to be a certain way. And when we notice that we are overthinking it and things do feel uncomfortable, it's actually probably a clue that you're going in the right direction, right? This might actually be confirmation for you that you're doing things the right way, because they are so uncomfortable, if you will. Everything's backwards. You know, our world is turning upside down. We are literally in Wonderland and trying to discern what the right thing to do is. And, you know, guys, I often tell you, trust your instincts, right? Trust that first gut initial instinct. And I need to clarify and say, you know, trust your intuition. You'll know when it's right because you'll feel good about it. But if you have a decision to make and you do it off the cuff, if you will, oftentimes it's a result of a habit, a result of conditioning, and it's probably not the best choice. Sometimes it is. I mean, even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? But take the time to sit back and think about it and feel it and understand that decision. Ask yourself those questions that we talk about. Is this a decision that is in the step of is a step in the direction of the goal that I am trying to attain? That is the first question you should ask. If the answer is no, then you move on to other questions. You know, is this something I want? Is it going to distract me for too long? Blah, blah, blah. But, you know, there's a level of thinking, and not overthinking, but a level of consideration, of contemplation, when we are on our healing journey, when we realize that our entire lives have been led in an unhealthy way. You know, we kind of have to unravel those habits. And that means that first idea that comes to your head might not always be the best one. Talk to your intuition, not your instinct. Two very different things. Intuition, instinct. I'm going to have to look those up this week, because now I just kind of sparked a thought for myself. But, you know, the messages that we get from the spiritual and religious and mental health community can be very confusing. You know, they're like, trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself. How do you trust yourself when you haven't been in a healthy environment your whole life? You know, it's not going to be comfortable. Period. End of story. So I'm going to leave the tarot portion there, guys. That's my PSA for today. And we're going to do an oracle card. I guess we'll stick with Alice, because I can't really decide what else I want to use, and she happens to be near me. So can I get an oracle message for today? Can I get some advice to go with these cards? Can I get oracle message for today? Advice to go with these cards. Advice, please, to go with these cards. Advice. Ooh, that one really wanted to come out. She jumped all the way to the floor and she landed face up. And you guys are not going to believe the card that we got. We got this once before already this week. You are rare and free. There are not many like you. So this time, you know, last time I didn't read from the book. I just intuitively read it, but I feel like today we're going to read from the book, because it's the second time we got it. So either they're really trying to drive the message home, or maybe I was wrong the last time. Either way, I am being called to read the book on this one. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Are there any more people in the garden besides me? Alice said, not choosing to notice the rose's last remark. There's one other flower in the garden that can move about like you, said the rose. I wonder how you do it. This card, divination. A struggle to find places where people accept you or where you feel you fit in. You must learn to embrace all that makes you different and become the very best that you can possibly be. You will never be defined, so refuse to comply. Explore the frontiers of human spirit and know how precious and rare you truly are. That's pretty beautiful, guys. This is embracing your own rare qualities, right? This is being inspired to be your true authentic self, right? We talked about the throat chakra with its colors the other day. That is being your authentic self in your throat chakra. You not only speak your truth, but you stop and listen, and you take what is your truth and you leave the rest. You know, take what you want, leave the rest. Have you guys ever heard that? I think they say it in AA. A lot of the readers here on YouTube, and I say it once in a while, you know, take what resonates and leave the rest. Not everything is meant for you, right? Not every belief is your belief, and that's okay, because you're different. You're meant to be different. You're not meant to be a part of the matrix. You're not meant to just be a blind robot, an artificial intelligence, if you will, where you've been programmed your whole life and you're just going to stay asleep and walk the walk the rest of your life based on those habits and creations and understandings and thoughts and beliefs that you were conditioned to believe. You know, take the time, really think about, are those things my beliefs? Question everything, because impossible is a state of mind. It's not an actual thing. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I love you guys so, so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I trust that your day will unfold beautifully. Much love and light. Hey, guys. How's it going? So I watched a video. A couple weird things. So first, I'm watching the video while I'm recording this. There's a very weird blue thing in there. I'll talk about that at the end. Anyway, to get going, let me see if I can get rid of the blue thing. Yeah, it's not going away. All right, well, it's going to be there. Anyway, try not to distract yourself from it. As I say that, distract yourself from it or be distracted by it. Again, everything's backwards. Everything means something, guys, and nothing. So are you distracted by the thing that you're supposed to focus on? Quick little interpretation there. But to get back to the video. So in the beginning, I started much the same way I start most of my videos, with kind of like a little channeling, I guess you would call it. I hate to use that word because it just sounds too woo-woo, but it was just, you know, kind of feeling out the energies for the day. You know, I started talking about time and the perception of time and how it moves fast and slow and whatnot. And then I get a phone call from a telemarketer. Why was it a telemarketer? And I've not gotten a call from a telemarketer in months. And it came through, and I actually was using my phone to record today. I have two phones, and I usually use the one that's not with me right now. And it was a combination of events that led up to that interruption. When the video continued, I didn't really talk about time the rest of the video. So a couple things that could be either the energy of time and its perception was not in the message for today. Obviously it wasn't. And the distraction, right? I got onto a completely different train of thought, even though it was only long enough for me to hit decline on my phone and hit record again. My thoughts completely, and my feelings and the energy completely jumped again. We've been talking all week about jumping. And yeah, even as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, why didn't I go back to the time thing? Who knows? I did at one point say a broken clock is right twice a day. Thought that was interesting, because we've had kind of this theme of clocks lately. But if your clock is broken, right, or I guess let's talk about clock for a minute, right? When you clock somebody, right, you punch them, you jar them, you startle them. Maybe that's what the clock was meant to do today. I'm not sure. But either way, it got jarred, and the message about time got cut short. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, then we moved on, and I sneezed during my interpretation of the Queen of Wands. So, and I love the fakey McFakerman thing. I do. And I want to read her that way because Steve's Love Tarot does. And check him out, guys. He's just so funny. And he is my second favorite energy reader. And if you do know Steve, then you'll know what that means and you'll laugh too. But check him out. Anyway, he calls her the Queen of Wands, the fakey McFakerman, right? And I can't read it that way. And it didn't make sense in the reading today. Some days it does kind of make sense. It flows with the other cards and whatnot. But it always jumps out at me. It always sparks that thought, right? And I talked about sparking a thought. I talked about planting a seed for a tree for other people to sit under, not you. Anyway. Okay, guys, I have an alarm set to tell me when I'm about to be late. And it just went off. So that's twice today the videos were interrupted by my phone. There's something to that, guys. There's something to that. You're going to get interrupted. Don't let yourself get off track. Don't let your timeline be affected by that. Don't let outside distractions, again with the distractions. It's jarring. Right? It's jarring, and you can end up down a rabbit hole and completely off track at times with that. But don't let it throw you off your game. You know, we talked about the playing cards. You know, there was another game kind of underlying undertone, another undertone of games in there today. And you know, all these things mean something, guys. They all mean something. This little blue thing that is distracting the hell out of me right there. I don't know, maybe you guys can't see it. We'll see it when the video posts, but I see a blue thing, and I just saw white fairies. So I don't know if you guys believe in fairies. This is kind of like my own personal thing. I look at videos and I see, you know, colored orbs, if you will, in the pictures and the videos, and I do believe that they mean something to me. Are they true fairies? I don't know. Does it matter? It's my imagination. It's childlike. It's what makes sense to me. And, you know, it doesn't matter what other people think, because I speak my truth about it, and it makes me happy, and it makes me smile. It makes me laugh. So why not? Why not? If it makes you laugh, why not? You know, my granddaughter the other day was dancing in the street. Not in the street, I'm sorry. Dancing in the street. Go listen to the song. She was dancing in the driveway, and there was no music playing, and she danced for like a solid 3 minutes. She dances to the beat of her own drum. She heard music in her head. You know, who cares? Who cares? It made her feel good. That's all that matters, guys. That was a really weird tangent that I went on. At the end, we got the repeat card of the Alice in Wonderland Oracle of a rare find, a rare, you are rare. And we are. Everybody is, guys. Everybody is, because nobody's the same. And even the cards, you know, we get them, the Nine of Wands and the Queen of Cups. Actually, all of our cards today were repeats. And if you go back through the other videos, I don't read them the same way twice. It's the energy around them. It's what I'm feeling at the time. It's what I've been through. It's my experiences that play into these readings. And you know, there's a subset of people that we kind of have the same experiences. We're kind of going through the same thing, and that's who these readings will resonate with. And maybe you'll go through what I'm going through in 10 years, or you went through it 10 years ago. And the energies are there, but it's, you know, take what's for you and leave the rest. So obviously, by virtue of the fact that my alarm interrupted the video, I'm running a little bit late. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Love you so much. Much love and light. We'll talk soon.